Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 11 of season 3 of Where's That Bar Card? I'm one of your hosts, Nick Dury. Alongside me, as always, is
Daryl Purvis.
I am Monty Scott.
He's barely Monty Scott today. This is another AM recording, just so you're aware. But Monty rallied, and it may not be all of him, but most of him is here.
I mean,
He's emotional. He just got very emotional, and he should. This is our 1 year anniversary show.
Yeah, 1 year.
Okay.
It's hard to believe. Yeah,
Isn't it incredible?
we made it a year.
Yeah,
Monty was out celebrating last night, and this podcast means so much to Monty.
it really does, actually.
You know, this is the reason he gets up in the morning now.
Literally. He's speechless. We've rendered him speechless. It's amazing. Super excited for our guest this week. Our guest is Gregg Foley, who's a CPGA teaching professional out of the Canada region. Very close to our guest last week, Nick Starchuk. We actually caught Gregg at the start of the season in between lessons. He joined us from his car in between teaching lessons, which was fantastic. And yeah, super excited to have Gregg on. I think this is going to actually be the first guest that I'm going to get to play golf with. We keep saying to all of our guests, hey, it would be great to play golf. And we've never done it. And Gregg might be the first one. So that would be awesome.
In defense of that, I mean, a lot of this was recorded through the winter.
That's quite true, actually. Yeah, very accurate.
And don't get this wrong, Nick. I will find these people and I will play golf with them.
It's very threatening. Did you hear that, all former guests?
Gregg,
I know where you are.
Gregg, for people in the Ottawa region, check out Gregg's website. It's called greggandjoegolf.com. It's Gregg Foley and Joe Dubinsky. Find info about lessons and yeah, just super cool guy, and we were happy to have him on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. $1,000. Who doesn't love the $1,000?
We're not gonna lie. We meant to record this before we record the actual interview but one of us might have had a few drinks last night, and and Nick, get your shit together.
I'm sorry, guys. I'll try harder next time.
I don't know what happened, really, guys. Listen,
I would like to know what happened, because Monty and I did a show together last night, and I left, and Monty was in complete control. He was in complete control. I honestly, I think I might have said, oh, you know what? Monty's in complete control as I left. And then I knew something was wrong. When we got on the call to do the intro, to record the intro, and he wasn't here, I'm like, uh-oh.
Well, and you can't leave Guyanese people together.
If any of our listeners want audio proof of this, or even visual proof of this, if you're watching this on YouTube, just wait for the greatest non sequitur of all time. That still is somehow very funny that happens in this episode. All little hints. It's an area that exists between here and Ottawa, but just wait for it. It's a fantastic non sequitur.
It led to a little confusion. I will say there is a solid minute of I don't know what's happened. I honestly thought, did I zone out at some point?
Yeah, did I have a stroke, or did Monty? I don't know. But thanks everyone for listening. Golf season's opened. I'm playing golf tomorrow.
Also, we should say ever since Gina became full-time on this podcast, I think she's on less recordings.
It's very true.
But she's on her way to London, England right now. Last week she was in Las Vegas, now London, England. Look, out of the four of us, it's nice to know one of us is successful.
That's true. Very true, actually. Yeah.
So,
well, out of everybody, we know Gina would be gallivanting more than us.
Yeah. I was in a green room in England the other night, and they were talking about Pascal Perez. And
really?
I wanted to jump in and tell my Pascal Perez story. But
it's Pedro Pascal.
Get this? They had never heard of Up the Creek.
Up the Creek, starring Pedro Pascal Perez.
That's
Oh,
glamorous.
that's the accuracy that our listeners look for on this podcast. That's the attention to detail that we deliver.
The worst
As
part is
hosts.
I'm not even trying to be funny.
That's what they love in green rooms around England is just let's talk the Panama Canal a little bit more. You know, people around the Panama Canal.
People
You
are
know,
up the
Pascal
creek.
Paquez. You know.
People up the creek. This is the longest intro of all time. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Enjoy our episode with Gregg Foley.
Hey, Monty.
Hey, how you
man?
doing, brother? Listen, I'll
Awesome.
be honest with you guys. The kids stole my shoes. The kids, I'm like, you know, I was out on the street. I was like, you know, the kids think they get away with everything these days. The kids have my shoes.
Whose kids?
Yeah, exactly.
Good
You're not
question.
allowed. You're not legally allowed around kids. What are we talking about right now?
Where
Yeah,
were
well,
you last night? And whose
Yeah,
kids?
well, they take my shoes away. That's what happens. That's why I get in trouble with the kids. They steal your shoes. They're up to monkey business, these kids.
You know, we did a recording last week at 9 a.m. and Monty was just in perfect shape for it. I was like,
Yeah.
this is look, Monty's turned over a new leaf, but now
Yeah.
11 a.m. Monty's way different.
Yeah, we missed the
Monty.
sweet spot.
If you get out of the Velcro and into the laces, the kids don't know how to untie them.
Good suggestion. Good suggestion.
I like it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh,
I'm
man,
Sorry to
Greg.
disrupt things, guys. I'm trying to slide into this thing, but I'm coming in.
Coming in hot.
coming in hot. Yeah.
Too many bitters last night.
Oh,
Oh,
it's too
shit.
many bitter. Yeah. Well, I hung out with Purvis, and that's what happens.
I was in bed by 11. I don't know how I'm getting blamed even partially for this.
Well, I was celebrating you coming back. I was happy. I thought Prince Charles had you. So I was happy to have you back. You know what I mean? I'm scared. The Brits scare me.
Well, they can't contain me forever.
But they contained my family for years. We could barely get over here.
This might be the most golf podcast we've ever done because our guest Gregg is joining us in between lessons from his car, which is just incredible. Gregg, it's such a pleasure to have you on. Thank you, man. I appreciate
And
you.
he's
making
already
time.
Thanks,
taught
Nick.
Monty a lesson. That's the incredible part.
Taught me a lesson about shoes. Greg
Life
knows what's going
lessons.
on.
That's right, man.
It's
dear.
great to meet you. You have a history with Durries, but not this Durry. You are a teaching professional in Canada, based out of Canada. Grew up and born and raised in Canada. That's correct.
That is correct. I know the Dury boys. This is the first time that you and I have actually met face to face. Couple
Yeah.
emails and texts back and forth, but Ottawa born and raised. Just like you said, I'm in between lessons here. Got enough time for a quick little podcast with the boys, and then
Love
try
it.
and fix some slices
And playing this afternoon at
at Eagle Creek. We got
Eagle Creek.
opening day. Club Link course, which is in Dunrobin. Really beautiful course. There's no houses out there.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Looking forward to it. We got a group of lads, so we got a little money game on the side going, so it should be fun.
now being a pro, like, are you playing with other pros? Or are you playing with amateurs?
A mix, to be honest with you. Probably more the group of guys that I'm going out with today are more amateurs than pros. But that doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. You know,
Well,
the guys that I'm
how-
playing with are good players.
players.
They can shoot under par very, very easily.
Wow.
So, you know, they like to have a little side games and money games and stuff. So it always makes it interesting.
So then do you take handicaps into account when it comes to money, or?
You know, most of the time when you're playing with these guys, there's not these games, there's not much handicaps being tossed around. And if there is, it's kind of like, you know, 1 or 2 strokes.
Okay.
You know, nobody's coming in as a 15 or a 20 handicap to play, you know, in those sort of games that we have. They're all
Sure.
around scratch. So, you know, try to mix the teams up if we have team events as close as possible, and then just see what happens from there.
Love it. Will this be your first round of the season?
No, got a couple in so far. We opened up, was it maybe a week and a half ago? We played Mapleview on the Wednesday, which is in Perth. Golf course was in great shape. Surprised there wasn't any water or anything on the course. And then the next day, Prescott opened. We played there. Greens were mint as always. Billy the pro out there, he's a great lad and does great stuff at the golf course. And then we actually had a little action out at your cousin's place. He's
really?
He's got a cottage just near Smith Falls and home of Brooke Henderson. So in Smith Falls, there's 2 golf courses, Lombard Glen and Smith Falls Golf Club. So 12 of us went out and played on Saturday. 2 of the lads had to take off. So then we played another 18 holes, 5 versus 5 scramble. And then head back to your cousin's place for a couple of cornhole games and some darts and some rowdiness.
What's a cornhole game?
Cornhole. You
don't know
toss
cornhole?
the bean
No.
bags, you might want to call it.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's way better than I thought it was.
Thing of beauty.
This
Walk
is
into that one.
Yeah. This is the crazy time of year for you, I gotta imagine.
Yeah, the start of the season is sort of when everybody's eager to get going. Usually when you get into the heat of the summer and the weather's 35 and 38, sometimes it gets a little warm for people. And they've probably already shot a couple plus 100 rounds, and sometimes, are a little done with golf, so to speak.
Sure.
Where right now everybody's eager. The driving range is busy, especially if it's nice out. The place that I teach out at the 19th tee on Carling Avenue, it's huge. It's I think it's the largest driving range in Eastern Ontario, and when it's a nice day out, this place is like insane busy. There's golfers of all levels. Like you got hackers coming out, and then you got guys that you watch them just stripe it one after another, which is beautiful.
What is the biggest mistake amateurs make starting a season?
Biggest mistake amateurs make starting a season. Well, I mean, as a general, just as golfers, and not even necessarily starting the season, most people, when they come to the range, they're practicing just getting worse. Grooving the same bad swing over and over again. It's probably the easiest way to say it, So, it's always good to figure out what your issues are, and try and work on something as opposed to just, getting lucky and hoping that luck pays off over and over again. Most people, like beginners, they're going to have such bad grips that it makes it really difficult for them to control the golf club. And that doesn't mean they can't hit a good shot. And good is relative. You get a guy hitting a 7-iron 115 yards that goes, 8 miles in the air. He thinks it's a good shot, but in reality, that same club head speed should probably hit at 160 or 70 yards.
Right.
So, golf's a funny game where you can do a whole bunch of stuff really, really wrong, and then somehow do a whole bunch of other shit really, really wrong to make up for it. And the ball can go straight, but it's not really effective. So, one thing I would say is if people could figure out how to hold the golf club, that's going to make their jobs way easier. And if people can come to the range or go see their pro or whatever and just give themselves a little bit of direction, so when they're practicing, they're actually doing something, that's probably good advice for most people, regardless if they're just starting or, getting into it.
I thought he was going to say the biggest mistake that amateurs make is having a butterscotch shot right off the first tee.
No, that's not a bad thing sometimes. My little grease for the swing, they say there, a little swing juice.
Someone brand new comes to you, never played before. I want to talk about grip, because we've never actually talked about grip, and we don't usually get this technical on the pod. But do you have a preference of grip that you would teach someone on?
Well, I mean, when you look at your basic grip, you got your overlap, you got your interlock, and you got your baseball grip. And there's some other variations like Jim Furyk and whatnot. But what I try and get people to do, and I don't necessarily teach a specific style, is I try to get them to be as natural as possible. So, when you look at a suitcase and that suitcase is sitting on the ground and you go to grab it, you end up putting the suitcase a lot more in your fingers.
Right.
And unfortunately what happens is because your golf club's sitting on an angle, right, and you go to grab it, your hand, comes too much into the palm and not enough into the fingers. So, the grip that I'm trying to teach people is just trying to get the club more in your fingers than your palm, number one. And number two, when you go to grab a pint, double fisted, you don't grab the beer with your hands awkwardly twisted so that when you bend your elbows, you don't get the beer to your mouth. Grabbing my coffee, I'm putting it in such a way that I can just bend my elbow. So in a good grip, you're trying to be, in your fingers to create speed and have control, which feels really loose to a lot of people. And then having your hands in somewhat of a natural position so that you can figure out how to use your wrist to control the club face. Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, but you haven't seen us grab pints after about the 8th or 9th one.
Well, I think that's just it. Sometimes the grip gets a little better through the rounds, and sometimes it gets a little worse.
Talking to the people of the Thousand Islands.
What's that?
Well, people of the Thousand Islands reason,
No, I don't know.
Fill me in, Monty.
Well, you're in Brockville and over by there.
Oh, yes, yeah. The Thousand Islands. Gotcha.
Yeah, Thousand Islands. Well, I'm sorry. I was my pronunciation was too loose of the grip. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Still struggling, but it's funny.
It's coming through. Sometimes you're too loose on the fingers. You gotta palm it up a little bit, and there we are.
Hey, don't trust your instincts there, Monty. It leads you to no shoes. Just because you think it feels good doesn't mean it's right.
Good point as well.
Gregg, you hold the course record at Canada Lakes, shot a 64. How old were you when you shot a 64?
Oh, that was many moons ago, but probably around 20.
Around
47 now. Yeah, somewhere around 20, I think.
So was that were you in university then? Because I know you got a scholarship, right?
Yeah, just back from university, and I was playing with a buddy, and just one of those days where everything sort of clicked together. Front nine was the first hole. I remember I hit it to an inch, and then the next 8 holes, I was hitting it really well off the tee, and the next 8 holes I had birdie putts, and all of those birdie putts were looking like they were going to go in, but none of them went in. So it was like burn the lip, burn the lip, burn the lip. And then got on the back nine, and those putts started going in, and birdied 10, 11, 12, par 13, birdied 14, 15, 16. If you ever played 16 at Canada, it's a skinny little green par 3. It makes Augusta par 3 look fat, so to speak. So birdie that, across the street, and I see one of my buddies that had a lawn care business, and he's like, "Hey, Foles, how's it going?" I'm like, "Yeah, pretty good, man." And he's like, "You playing well today?" And I'm like, at that point, I was just kind of zoned out, and I'm like, "Yeah, playing pretty good." Step up on the next tee. Oh my God, 40 handicapper, slice this thing into the bush. It was unbelievable. And then hit an unbelievable shot. I remember it. There's this little water meter on the right hand side at 17 at Canada, and my ball was right beside that, and I had to hit this 70-yard slice out of the bush around the corner, and it ends up beside the green. I chip up, make the putt, card it, lipped out for birdie on 18. And anyway, so yeah, that was the course record day. I mean, there's I played with a bunch of guys that have been close, and finishing it is not always the easiest thing to do. I've had some guys that were 5 under through 12, and there's a couple more birdies out there, but when the score that you got to shoot, it's a tricky thing to do. So anyways, it was an awesome day.
You know what I love about golf? The fact that how many years ago was that? And you're sitting here, and then I had a conversation with that guy on the way here, and then blah, blah, in your mind, how many thousands of rounds of golf have you played since then? And you can literally go hole by hole. You can probably picture every putt that just missed and how they missed.
It's crazy.
Monty can't even remember how he got home last night. For Christ's sakes.
I don't know. I had a putter, weirdly enough, but I don't know how I got home. Yeah.
But it is ridiculous. I always think about stuff that I did when I was like, 14. I
Sure.
can't even remember all these shots. It's just weird how the brain works.
Yeah, it's true. You kind of remember those times. One of my buddies, Koski, he's even better at it. It's unbelievable. He'll be like, "Do you remember this when we played?" And I'm just like, "Yep, sure." He's rhyming off shots that I hit. I don't even remember it at that point. But the good rounds stick around,
I thought Monty's going to chime in something about the Thousand Islands there, but
Oh no, I was going to talk about
I think
Thousand Islands for a couple minutes.
I think he was going to talk about. He was moving on to Gananoque. Greg, did you consider like a life in competitive golf?
Honestly, no.
Cool.
I've had some success. I had a scholarship down to the States. Didn't turn out to everything that I wanted it to be as far as schooling and stuff goes. So I ended up transferring up to Humber College. Took a golf management program that they offer there, and did the CPGA route. So teaching or working at a golf course and so on and so forth. 2001, I was fortunate enough to win our national championship for the assistant professionals across Canada. Anyhow, that got me to be able to play in the US championship and the Australian championship. And it also got me a chance to play on, get into a buy.com tour event, which is sort of one step under the PGA Tour back in the day. And anyways, my buddy Koski there that I was telling you about, he caddies for me. So we show up at this golf course in Toronto, and I'm driving this beater 1996 red Honda Civic with the muffler out. We pull up to the cop at the front gate. He's like, "Hey guys." I'm like, "Oh shit. Yeah, no, we're playing." They show him my badge. My muffler's rattling all the way down this long laneway. Park the car. We get to the range. I'm nervous as shit. And he's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" I go, "Well, let's go hit a couple of shots." So he goes, "What do you want?" I'm like, "Give me a wedge." And I set up, and beside me is Hank Heaney, and Casey Martin is the guy on my other side. So I don't remember Casey Martin, but he was the one that got the handicap,
the cart, right? Yeah,
you betcha, right? So Hank Heaney is an animal, and this guy is bombing drives. They're hitting the shitter at the back of the range at like 320. And I'm so nervous that I think I hit wedge for like 45 minutes. Koski's like, "Here, you want to hit a 7-iron?" I'm like, "No, I'm good here." So completely out of place, man. Like my skill set is not in, I was listening to your podcast with Nick, and he was explaining sort of his journey, and my skill set was not to keep up with those guys. They can just crush it, and it's only gotten worse from here. Guys are hitting at 380, on these touring events, not even long drive guys, so I kind of knew my place in there, that I wasn't a PGA Tour bound guy, so teaching was definitely the avenue that I wanted to go, and that's sort of where I've ended up from here.
In defense of your car, though, I've seen a couple of Tiger Woods' cars, how they ended up. So yours wasn't that bad.
Mine did not end up in a ditch.
I was going to say, we have a lot in common. We both caddied at events at Eagle Creek. We both obviously played with Dury's. My current car is a 96 Honda Civic.
2-door or 4-door?
2-door. 2-door hatchback. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Listen,
I'm a member at a club up here, and I really want to win the club championship for the only reason of parking the 96 Civic in the winner's parking spot for a full year, surrounded by all those fancy cars.
Prime spot. I love it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We'll get that thing polished for you if you get the W. All right.
All right.
Send me the invoice. I gotta put a sticker on the hood though.
That's amazing. You show up with anything pre-2000s, you'd be like, "I think the Sri Lankans are here. Is this VJ?" The Sri Lankans are here. Mind you, then you'd be like, "Well, it might not be the Sri Lankans, but now definitely the Sri Lankans are here."
Scarborough Monty shows up. Just showed up.
Yeah, eventually I had to show up. I was done with 1,000 Islands. I had enough.
He's moving west.
Same like my dad.
So now, like a typical year, Greg, like how often are you getting out and actually playing? Is it many
Well,
times a week, or does work sort of get in the way?
I'll be honest. Usually, what happens with most golf professionals, especially from like a club pro standpoint, is they get so overwhelmed at the club, and they're there for minimum 40 weeks or 40 hours a week. But more realistically, those guys are there like 60, 80 hours a week. So the last thing that they want to do is play golf, and the very last thing they want to do is play golf at their home club.
Yeah.
Where
Right.
as soon as they step on the range, Mrs. Jones is complaining about t-shirts or tee times. Or so the nice part about being a teaching pro is, I don't have to deal with that side of things. I'm a member out at Club Link, so I play Thursday nights with the boys, men's night, and usually I play Sunday afternoons as well too. And then Brad and all the boys are members out at Stittsville Golf Club, and they have their men's night on Wednesdays. So once in a while, I'll pop out and play with them. So I usually get out like minimum 2 times a week throughout the summer.
Nice. And how competitive are you? Like on a night like that? Like, are you very competitive? Are people gunning for you? I gotta imagine. Do you feel?
Well, it's not by any means that I'm the best player there, right? Like, so there's lots of gunning going around from everybody. Nobody likes to lose, right? So,
right.
And it's even worse if you lose to your buddy that's chirping your ass off.
Right.
So, and golf's a funny game because it doesn't take much to shoot a high score and make a bogey and a bogey and a bogey and a bogey. Next thing you know, your buddy's having the game of his life, and he's beating you. So, don't like to lose.
That's great. We had
the easiest way to put it.
As you mentioned, we had Nick on last week. Most memorable Brad story.
Oh, I mean, countless Brad stories. I probably couldn't even get into all of them with you, or any of them with you, to be honest. That's probably a safe way to keep that. But yeah, no, I mean, I play a lot of golf with Brad, and the way Nick described him on the tee box, he's got a little bit of a strong bricklayer's grip, and but when he catches a hold of it, he can definitely send her flying. That's for sure. But I'll keep the tame stories to behind closed doors for Brad.
That's great.
I don't know if you know.
I'll save that when I come down to Toronto.
We're a pretty loose podcast. I don't know if you've noticed.
Just got to show up roughly on time.
Relatively close. I mean, I'm close.
Just somewhere.
That's a perfect time for the par 5. Monty, do you want to do the honors?
Oh, this is gonna be great.
Listen, I don't know if we're making a chimney here. You seem to have a bricklayer's grip, but is this a par 5?
Great.
Wow.
Greg, question number 1, your favorite golf course?
I gonna have to resort back to Royal Portrush.
Wow.
When we went to Ireland last year, with like literally this week, with Brad and Nick and Mike, Royal Portrush was hands down the nicest of all the golf courses we played there. The caddy we had was phenomenal. His name was Neil. He was lights out, so that made the experience great. The golf course itself, the golf over there is different than it is here, as you kind of mentioned. Number one, my first impression or thought of impression would be that, okay, we're going to go over there and play with a bunch of drunk guys. And that's farthest thing from the truth. They like to drink, and 100% they're giving her, but they play their golf and then they have their drinks.
Yeah.
Where, showing up with my lads, it's like, we call it buggies and beers, and then you got the tunes jamming in the background. So, a little bit different. So going over there, the other part to it too was like Royal County Downs we played, which was rated number 1 in the world. I actually liked Portrush better because there wasn't so many blind tee shots. Portrush, there was one blind tee shot. Other than that, the golf course is pretty much right out in front of you. County Downs, there was a couple times where you'd be standing there on the tee box and you're like, okay, shit, the ocean's over there on my right. so I can't be going that way. Where the hell am I going? And the caddy's like, oh, you see that little rock on the hill over there? Just hit it 5 yards right of that. Nick turns to him and he's like, can you get them to move the rock? So anyways, yeah, Portrush was it was probably the nice golf course I ever played. And caddy was awesome. I played really well that day. I putted like shit. And the caddy at the end of the round, he actually ended up sending me an email and saying thank you so much. It was the best grouping that I've had. It was the best ball striking that I've seen. He actually sent me an email at Christmas time saying, listen, you withstood the test of the year. You were the best, striker that I saw all year in such close proximity. And that particular day, I hit it well. Nick is just a pure ball striker. The guy is unbelievable. We stepped up on, I think it was the first par 5. And I got a clip of it. I probably should have clipped it and sent it to you. But anyhow, the caddy's like, Nick's like, okay, well, how far to that bunker? He's like, 265. And Nick's like, no, not that bunker. The other one. He's like, well, like 290 something. It's like, but nobody's ever asked me that. Well, he just smashes one. And Nick hits it out there probably like 360 or 370.
Jesus.
And anyways, we get up to the ball and Brad's here. I kind of snipe one off the tee. Nick's ball is miles up there. And there's a clip of the Irish caddy. He's like, that's the longest fucking shot I've ever seen. So it was a memorable day. Awesome golf course. The whole trip to Ireland was wonderful. So I would put that at the top of my list. The other ones that I would sort of consider to be up there, I got to play Cabot, both courses. It was pretty nice out there. And I also played Wingfoot, which was
wow.
That was a pretty neat spot. The greens were unbelievably fast. Played with 2 golf pros from Ottawa. We went down and watched a hockey game and had lunch with Steckel, and it was pretty neat. Anyways, the greens were unbelievable. One of the guys putted off of the green and into the bunker twice.
Jesus. Oh my God.
But Portrush, the experience that's number one. I think it's going to be tough to beat that one.
We had an Irish comedian on in season 1, and he described North Americans' approach to golf as every round is a bachelor party.
I could see that. Tunes are jamming, right? Pints are going.
Yeah.
The boys are out of control.
Other than Augusta, I don't know if you've played any of Augusta, St. Andrews, or Pebble, but other than those, which is sort of on your bucket list courses you want to play that you haven't played?
Well, 50th is coming up pretty soon, and every year usually Brad, Nick, and I and somebody else go on a trip somewhere. So I think for my 50th, I think we're going to do Pebble and try and go down to the Titleist factory and do the whole experience down there. So I know that's on the list there that you had, but that's probably the one that I'm going to hit next, to be honest.
Yeah, that's great.
And then the good thing about Nick is he's a golf freak, so he loves his shit, and he'll find these golf courses like you guys were talking in the podcast in the middle of nowhere. So we've done a few trips with him, and I think Northern Michigan is on the list at some point in time. So I just kind of go, okay, Nick, where are we going? And he comes up with it, and Brad and I are like, all right, man, let's do it.
I got included on a text thread for you guys coming down to Toronto in about a month's time, and I was quite over the moon to be included on that. I can't wait to play with you guys. It's going to be fun.
It should be a hoot. I'm looking forward to it. I think we got at least one golf course lined up already, and then trying to get a hold of a second one. So we should have
Brad cannot stand that his younger cousin is better than him. He fucking hates it so much.
I can't wait. And don't fall for his shit.
No. I fell for it once. It's never happening again.
Put your earphones in.
Robbie and I played against him and our other cousin Joe in a team event last year. And on the I think I birdied one and he got him pissed off. And on the second tee, he gave me a shot of Sambuca. both of us, and both of us hit it about 30 yards off the tee. And Brad was like just over the moon, just, yeah, I got them now. I fucked them up. And I demolished them over the next 8 holes. It was fantastic.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Question number 2, you can put together your ideal foursome with the caveat no PGA, LPGA, or live players, and anyone alive or dead. Who is rounding out your foursome?
So you're saying I can pick anyone?
Anyone.
Anybody I want? Well, I mean, my dad got me into the game. My mom, those two kind of no-brainers.
That's great.
And Freddie Couples probably would be the.
Well,
He
no
would be-
PGA players
no-
or former, pros,
Okay,
basically.
Okay, no pros. Who would the fourth one be? That one, I don't know. I think I'd have to think about that one for an open tee off time. Nick, what do you got? You free? You want to play with mom and dad? Actually, one of the guys that I play golf with all the time, Jason Winters, when I worked at the other driving range in Canada, him and I were there, and this guy is an absolute gem. I'd probably throw him into my foursome.
Nice.
Just he's a beauty. So mom, dad, Jason Winters. I think that would be a good foursome.
Love it.
This is the first time we've had Jason Winters included in the foursome.
Well, we can get him in.
He's often been snubbed, but he's finally made it.
He's in. Monty, I'll put us together something in the GAN there one day, a little threesome. All right.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I was just happy to be involved in the group email. I can't wait to play with you guys as well.
All right. Love
it.
I've never heard it referred to as the GAN before.
The GAN, I love that. That's great. A hot summer day, Greg. Bar cart comes around. What are you ordering from the bar cart?
I don't drink a ton on the golf course, but if I've got an open bar, it's probably going to be vodka cranberry. To be honest.
Wow.
Keeps it light and refreshing. Good for a couple, but you hit that 5 or 6 mark and you go from hero to zero, and the coordination skills sort of dip off a little bit. But usually 1, 2, or 3, you're doing all right. But so yeah, no, I would go with the vodka cranberry on the bar card.
So how do you manage when like you're playing with heavy drinkers and they're trying to get you messed up? You just able to pace yourself? Yeah. Toss him back. Nice.
Yeah, that's over the shoulder, That's not here.
The weird thing is when you said vodka cranberry, I was like, yeah, he looks like a vodka cranberry guy. I don't know why, but you do.
That's it, man. That's nothing heavy. I stay away from the White Claws, though.
Monty was drinking a White Claw-esque drink when I left him last night.
I was.
A Coco
I'm trying to.
what was it called? Chico Coco?
I don't even know what's it called. Come on. The red one. I was drinking some of the red ones. I had a blue.
Greg, either you can answer the angriest you've ever seen someone on the golf course, or how do you keep from losing it on the golf course?
I mean, I've seen some stuff on the golf course from people. And when I was a kid, my dad used to call me Mumble Gregg, and I would hit a bad shot and then walk down the side of the fairway cursing and then say my name, and that was probably never good. And I never realized how much of an idiot I looked like until I played with somebody that did that. And then I kind of stopped doing that. But that's not so much angry. I have seen guys, smash their driver to pieces on the on a metal tee box. One of our trips a few years back out to PEI. So we got, 2 golf pros, 2 non-golf pros. And one of the guys, good athlete, he's played some semi-pro hockey, and he's got high expectations. So we're on the 2nd or 3rd hole, and he's got his $200 pair of shades, and they are just twisted up and bent into pieces. He's losing his shit. And anyways, so we stand on the next tee box, and Nick kind of gives him the old, listen, man, you're not good enough to get upset, and the more upset you get, it just rolls over into the next shot, So that was pretty funny. But I've seen guys lose their junk anywhere, in the bunker. I mean, tossing their clubs in the lake. Pretty sure one of Brad's sand wedges ended up in the pond on number 2 at Canadian. I kind of remember him tossing it in there, and then like the grip end of the club came up, so it was like floating and sticking out of the water. like a tease just far enough away you couldn't get it, but the fucking thing's dangling there. Oh god. So yeah, anyways, it's good. So for some good, comedy relief, you just watch some golfers lose their shit on a regular basis.
Speaking of that mumbles, I have to tell a story. I just got back from a month in London yesterday, and the other night I was walking through the subway station and somewhere in London, and Arsenal had just lost 4-1 to Man City, and there's this guy walking through the subway, the tube, and he just walks by my wife and I. All we hear is this fucking team. I fucking swear, I can't take it anymore. This fucking team, fucking. And I just turned to my wife and go, "Hey, it's like a Leafs fan. That's like a British Leafs fan right there." But he was all alone. He was just walking through the subway station. Go, the team, I can't believe it. I can't cheer for them anymore. That's it. I'm done. And he's not talking to anybody but himself.
I wonder what the tunnel in Toronto sounded like this morning.
I was gonna say.
That's not funny.
That
Same thing.
Sorry.
I'm with you, Greg. No, I'm with you.
Actually,
least
it
you're
was
cheering for
very
the team.
subdued. It was very subdued, actually. I think everybody's just got, Leafs fans. Look, we're recording this. Leafs now up 3-2 against Tampa Bay. Leafs fans, as soon as they go up 3-1, we go, that's it.
Yeah.
We're in trouble. We're in trouble now.
Uh-oh.
They got them. They got us right where they want them.
Well, in fairness, when you're dead already, what's there to worry about?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's Leafs fans for the most part. We're either too optimistic or too down. That's what we are.
Start from dead, and then you're like, hey, let's hope for the best.
That's what they say in the GAN.
And again, Greg, are you a gearhead? Like, are you like updating your clubs every year?
Well, fortunate enough to be a Titleist staff player for 20 some odd years now.
Wow.
So they give me gear every year, and one of the nice things about Titleist is they'll release irons one year and then let's say woods the next year. So it's not like every single year. So that, I get new clubs and balls and gloves and hats and shoes and stuff and bags from them. But I'm not like the super, like, some guys get in there and they're weighing everything, and, I kind of grab it and give it a little wiggle, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of like the feel of that, So I'm not like uber gearhead. A little bit more towards like the technical teaching side of things, sure. But as far as equipment goes, I'm not high on the geek squad as far as that side goes.
Let me get a little bit of a free lesson from you. I'm a 6 handicap and my irons are 24 years old. I've only ever had 2 sets of irons. Is that dumb? Should I be upgrading my irons?
I mean, a lot of the times the guy who's swinging the club is the biggest problem. Drivers, and depending on kind of what irons you have, if you look at like a blade iron from 20 years ago and you compare it to a blade iron from today, there's no difference.
Right.
But if you start getting into, the game improvement and the way they've been able to move the center of gravity around and the way they can mess around with the lofts, but still hit the ball high and not have as much spin and stuff, the technology has come a long way in that sense, for the game improvement side of things and for your average guy trying to get better. So, having fitted clubs is, a spot where you can kind of check it off the list and say, okay, well, that's not the issue. It can kind of rely on you. But, if you give a really good golfer any golf club, they can sort of make it work, But if you gave a tour player a ladies flex and said, okay, take a full rip at it, I mean, that golf ball wouldn't go the way that they would want it to go or expect it to go. But 2 swings later, he could go, hey, hit a 150-yard cut shot with that thing, and they would make the thing do what they'd want it to do.
Yeah, right.
So,
That's
I
great.
think it's important to have fitted clubs, but really, you're the one kind of controlling it. As long as you're not like way out on left field, it's mostly to do with you than anything else.
Speaking of your irons, Nick, what if you did win the club championship? After you pull out, like when the car's not there, I'd like to just leave your irons there in that spot. Since they're of the same generation, the car.
They really actually are. They are. The 855s will be sitting beside the 96 Civic.
You could almost pick
Silver
when
Scott.
Nick just peaked with the new irons, the new car.
Exactly.
The Big Lebowski has won this.
Oh dear. Yeah, maybe it's time for an upgrade, some wheels and some sticks, bro.
Comedy's not going very well for me. Last question, your favorite golf moment. So this is either something you experienced or something you saw on TV, but I gotta imagine it's something you experienced.
I mean, there's personal stuff that I've gone through, that stands out. I mean, course record or winning our assistance championship, the national championship. That was pretty big stuff. But honestly, the stuff that I kind of get a kick out of the most is watching people hit like a good golf shot.
Cool. Yeah.
Right. That's and the nice part about my job, most of the time when people are coming to see me, they're paying for my advice and stuff. So I'm not dealing with a lot of, Karens, so to speak.
Sure.
And those are kind of the things that I wouldn't say as one specific moment. Personally, there's some stuff like that, but just on a day-to-day basis is, watching a hack be able to hit their first good golf shot and be like, okay, wow, that's sort of how it's supposed to look and feel. And if I can get that happening multiple times in a day, then that's why I enjoy doing what I do.
Amazing. I am so looking forward to meeting you in person and playing with you. It's gonna be fun, man.
We're gonna have a hoot, bud. Don't worry.
Yeah. Can't wait. Thank you so much. I can't believe you're in between lessons. We want to let you go because you got a lesson in 12 minutes. So go get ready for it. But thank you so much for your time, Greg. This was awesome.
Boys, appreciate it. And maybe we'll have a party in the GAN, anytime.
Yeah.
We'll link up.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks so much, man.
All right.
Hey,
To meet you, Greg.
Good luck with the shoes, bro?
Still looking.
There might be one in his hair.
I'll keep my hat on. See you, boys.
All right, man.
Take care.
So what an episode with Greg Foley. Holy cow, that was great. He was fantastic, very funny. Super, nice of him to join us in between lessons, teaching lessons. And I got some free golf advice, which was nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's a lot of fun.
Monty, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Are you are you going back to bed? Or do you a little hair of the dog? What sort of drink full of bitters are we going to first, and at what time?
I don't know. I'm having bitters right now.
I've never seen Monty so emotional. It's just beautiful to watch.
It's the 1 year anniversary of Where's That Bar Cut? It's just really gotten to his heart.
Yeah,
it's my soul.
Thanks everyone.
Right now?
I have no idea. It's amazing though. Monty, you gonna be you okay?
I mean, why not?
Yeah. Perfect.
Have you somehow gotten drunker during the episode?
I don't know.
It's 11:59 in the AM on a Friday. But this is great. Monty,
I gotta get back to the markets.
Thanks everyone.
Any big trades today, Monty. Leave the markets alone today.
Yeah. Leave the day trading to the professionals. Maybe just take a beat.
Day trading to the professionals, day drinking to yourself. How's that?
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you next week with another episode of Where's That Bar Card?
The fairway.
Thanks everybody.
And something distracted him.
God bless you.
All right. That was what the late Henry Longhurst
used to call the tradesman's entrance. Now, you know, it doesn't count as the tradesman's entrance if it goes on the side.